Hey, Lon, thanks for doing this. Hope you're doing well.
You
Uh,
bet. Thank you guys.
what's it been like getting back with your players, and what are those workouts been like since y'all received the test information back and looks like everybody was clear and good to go?
Yeah, it's been number one. It's great to have them back. It's been since March 13th when they left campus. Over 4 months, obviously, since we'd seen them together as a group. So great to have them back. For the most part, I think they've done a terrific job of kind of working out on their own and staying safe. We brought them back last Thursday. We tested for the virus Friday morning. All good results there. Able to start with some form of workouts on Monday, not a full blown normal workout by any means, and really it's kind of resolved into basically a lot of shooting, a lot of team shooting, a lot of working in smaller groups, distancing a little bit in practice. All the guys wearing masks, all the coaches wearing masks. We probably did a little bit on Monday. A little more than we should have, from an administrative standpoint. So we backed off of that a little bit. And so we're all good now. We work out a little bit later today. So, 4 times a week, 45 minutes to an hour each time, lifting 3 or 4 times a week as well. So you got the 4 hours on the court, you got the 4 hours off the court, conditioning wise. And it's been good.
We'll have Joe Bettner ask the next question.
Lon, I was curious, just you go into this summer with basically the same team minus Christian. I'm curious what maybe that does for you guys, serves as an advantage as you kind of navigate a pretty unprecedented offseason with trying to, get the schedule in and having so many guys that already know the system.
Yeah, it's a veteran group for sure. We'll miss, Christian, of course, an all-league player. So, we'll miss his production. Jamal decided to transfer out. We'll miss Jamal. But for the most part, the majority of the minutes are back. Veteran group, like the new guys coming in a lot. So yeah, it's again, we go into practice. There's not a lot of introduction of anything at this point, anyhow. But again, the guys understand the value of working hard and competing hard, and they know how tough it is at what lies ahead.
Eric Bailey.
Sorry about that. Hey, Lon, everyone's in such a wait and see attitude right now, especially with football. We just don't know what's going to happen with football. How does that what you're going through? I mean, you have to have a wait and see attitude because we really don't know what's going to happen with college basketball. How do you handle that? And how do you prepare the players for something that we just don't know what's going to happen?
Well, during the last 4 months, we've talked to the players. The most significant thing is our attitude about what lies ahead. And the attitude of being flexible, understanding it's not going to be normal, understanding that regardless of what anyone else is doing. I think Oklahoma's done it with President Harrows and Joe C. Just a fantastic job of listening to the medical folks, not being influenced by what other people are doing, staying safe, first and foremost in every way. And our guys get that. Our guys understand that, hey, it's not convenient to wear a mask when you're running around on the basketball court, but they understand it's important. And most importantly, when they leave practice and they're not around, our group, that they still make good decisions, in the evening and on the weekends. And so far they've done that. So just remain flexible, regardless. We don't know what lies ahead in terms of schedule, non-conference games, conference games, whatever. All that will be determined kind of after we see what happens with football and how they get off to hopefully a good start. So all up in the air. That's the way it's been for the last 4 months. New information, it seems like every other day. So you have to be flexible and versatile and react on the fly.
We'll go to Joey Helmer next.
Hey, Lon, it's good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
You
And
bet.
good to see everyone else as well. You got a couple new transfers into your program. What can you tell us about those guys and kind of how they fit into your system?
Yeah, great to have you talk about Elijah Harkless from Cal Northridge and Moshe Gibson from North Texas. Really, and no surprise in talking to the coaches from the programs they were at last year. They coaches love those guys. They love their work ethic. They love their attitude. Teammates and really enjoyed them. So we kind of knew what we were getting up front. Now that they've been here a week, all that has proven to be the case. Great energy, great enthusiasm for being here. Both really athletic and active and competitive. So all those things that you want in a player, but especially a transfer. In terms of attitude and work ethic, certainly appear to be there. So we're excited about those guys.
Next, we'll go to Cliff Brunt.
Yeah, Coach, just wondering what through this process have you learned in terms of maybe new approaches to things, learning about new technology, different things that you've had to gain over this process of getting to this point, and things that you might have picked up that you might keep that you've learned as a result of this situation?
Well, prior to March, we'd never been on a Zoom call. So I guess, we're wearing Zoom out. I think, it's been a little bit of a reset in a lot of different ways. We're recruiting without leaving campus. We're recruiting and no one's been to campus unofficially or officially. It's been a dead period. So, I think you can get a lot of things done on Zoom that maybe keep you from having to get on a plane and fly somewhere for a meeting. I think everyone, probably not just athletic departments, but probably everyone will take advantage of that more. Even though you'd like to see people in person, you can certainly get a lot done through Zoom, and that's been the case.
Thanks,
Well,
Coach.
oh, sorry, Cliff, did you have another question?
No, I was just saying thanks.
You bet.
Great. We'll go to James Hale next.
Okay, I got it now.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Hey, I'm still catching on to Zoom and everything else. So, Alondis Williams had some great moments with you last year, I thought. At times, he was as good as anybody that you had on the court. At times, he didn't play much. Now that he's back, what have you seen in his maturity, and what kind of expectations do you have for him next year?
Yeah, with Alondis and the other three seniors too, Austin and Brady and Kerr, it's huge that those four seniors give us great production. And Alondis, like you say, like a lot of our guys last year, it seemed like a little bit of a hit and miss in terms of production, in terms of opportunity, in terms of minutes, and we need those guys, especially those older guys, to give us consistency. Every day in practice, production in games, leadership, defensively, rebounding in every way. So again, I think a real key for our team is those four seniors establish themselves early and do it day after day.
Thanks.
You bet.
Prisbillo up next.
Yeah, Lon, I know there was hope for that one-time transfer rule to pass. Clearly it didn't. What's the status with Mo Gibson? Are you trying to get a waiver for him?
We will. Yeah. It's kind of a case-by-case waiver request for immediate eligibility. And we'll do that for both Moshe and Elijah. Going forward, we're in the process of, developing that information right now, and then we'll send it off to NCAA at some point, and in hopes of getting a positive response, but nothing new other than that we'll request a waiver for immediate eligibility, but judgment remains to be seen.
Does anyone else have any questions? Mr. Hoover, go ahead.
Okay. You got me?
We got you.
Okay, good. Hey, Lon, thanks again for doing this. There's been obviously a lot of talk about football as football is up next, becoming a spring sport this year, perhaps a 2-semester sport even. I know you said it's all up in the air, and I couldn't agree more. We don't know. But what could that mean for the overall health of college basketball, even if it's just for 1 year? I'm guessing a lot of basketball games will be affected by having football games on TV.
Yeah, if it does go spring, whatever we have to do is great. I mean, we just hope that the young guys, gals in college have a chance to compete, and whatever we have to do to do that safely and give them that opportunity, we're good with it. We're not going to squibble over sharing the spring TV by any means. If we need football, we need revenue from football. We need those guys to have that experience to compete. So however we have to do it is great. If we do it all in the spring, then it'll certainly be a crowded TV calendar, that's for sure. But that's fine. We'll live with it and make whatever works to make it work.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet.
Then we'll go back to James.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Lon, you have a lot of young bigs on this team. You have legitimate centers on this team too. When you look at your offense, you had incredible guards before. When you have bigs like this, do you change your offense a little bit to try to fit that, or do they fit in what you're already doing? How do you see these bigs moving forward?
Yeah, we'll kind of feel our way along there a little bit. Depends on how productive they are. Especially you got Kerr and you got Rick
Right.
Sanza, the redshirt freshman, really are our two bigs. We got Victor Brady can play that 4 spot, and also move in the low post if we need to. But for the most part, we'll just kind of see if we hope Kerr and Rick can give us some production offensively. If they can, then we'll adjust accordingly. If they're, right now their base is probably more on the defensive end and blocking shots and protecting the rim and rebounding the basketball. But, it's one of the areas that not just our program, but all programs, that individual development, on the court, with those guys in April, in June, and all of July, we'll miss that.
Yeah.
And those guys' opportunity to develop as a result of that will certainly be impacted, but everyone's in the same boat, and we'll try to help those guys come along, and I know they'll work at it as best we can in the time that we've got left this summer and right into the fall.
Thanks.
And we'll go back to Joe Bettner.
Lon, I'm curious, just with your schedule this year, you guys travel quite a bit. I mean, is it something that you guys are talking about right now as far as how things could possibly move, or trying to figure out what the best course is for you guys, especially if travel becomes somewhat of an issue if the pandemic continues on through the basketball season?
Yeah, it is something you talk about. I think each conference, each program, tries to anticipate one of 4 or 5 different scenarios. Are we playing non-conference? Are we not playing non-conference? If we're not playing what we have scheduled in non-conference, are we doing it in are we changing our schedule and doing it in smaller pods? Everything's being discussed. We'll stay with the schedule we got until we're told that's not possible. And when we're told it's not possible, then we go to plan B, plan C, whatever the other alternatives are. But certainly there's a lot of discussion on in every conference office about the various possibilities that lie out there. And we don't know what's going to become reality until we learn more from what lies in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then the start of football season. And again, we'll just react to it and have a great attitude about it and swing away when we get the opportunity.
Next, we'll go to Lee Benson.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Lee.
I'm just curious, has your schedule been impacted at all? Obviously, the previous season schedule impacted everybody, but for you all, for basketball, have you had any issues with this is kind of the time of year I think everyone usually shows up. Is that correct? I mean, have you had any issues with scheduling and preparing for the upcoming season yet?
Well, we've got the schedule set for the upcoming season. And again, we're ready to execute what we have scheduled, unless they tell us we have to change it. And if we have to change it, then we will, and we'll go to whatever other options are out there. But yeah, I mean, the schedule will be a little bit different. Normally, our guys come in the start of June, and they're here for 8 weeks of summer school, and we get those 8 weeks to work out. As it turned out, now we first time we could be with them on the court was July 20. But now we're allowed to be those 4 hours a week right up to the start of school in August. So guys won't go home after summer 2, which they normally would, and like on August 1. Now they'll stay here through the start of school later in August, and we'll get those other 3 weeks of August to actually work out on the court. So those type of schedules are, different, but all doable for sure.
Thanks.
Next we'll go to Danielle.
Hey, Coach. Thanks again for doing this. Just wanted to, I know it's early on, we're only in the first week getting guys back, but what kind of growth or maturity have you seen from Davion and maybe some off-season gains that he was able to make?
Yeah, Davion, he's a guy that loves being in the gym. So during those 4 months, he worked hard. He looked, his body has changed a little bit. I thought he had a good freshman year. He came in with a certain level of expectations, and that was really a challenge for him. I thought he changed his game a little bit as we got into conference play to understand what he needed to do to be effective. And I think he learned a lot and had a good freshman year and learned a lot. So I think he'll have a terrific sophomore year. I think he's ready to go physically, mentally. He loves to play. He loves to compete. And I think Davion's positioned to have a really good year.
And one quick follow-up. You mentioned the seniors, but when you look at Brady specifically, have you seen maybe a mindset shift with him and really stepping into that leadership role, kind of filling, because Christian was such a great leader for those guys last year, but have you seen that from Brady now that he's officially moving into that senior role?
We have. He's put on some good weight during these past 4 months. Brady's not ever going to be the most talkative guy, but I think from a way he carries himself in the first few days here in practice in the weight room, he's carried himself like a senior leader, and he's always worked hard and he's always competed hard. So that's not going to change, but becoming a little bit more vocal, and I think he'll be a good leader for those guys.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
All right, guys, we're going to have to keep it just to one more question, just with Coach's schedule. So Eric Bailey will bring us home.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, we talked about different players arriving, but what about Trey Phipps? What's he been like upon his arrival on campus?
Trey's great. We love his attitude. He's again, a gym rat, coaching, family, understands, what it's all about, great attitude every day in practice. Again, just spent his 4 months on his own and in the gym a lot, get up a lot of shots, terrific shooter, understands the game. I think he'll step in and contribute right away. He's, again, a guy that other teams have to prepare for and game plan for, and he can stretch the floor, and he can do more than just shoot it. People think of him as a shooter, but he's a good drive and kick guy. He works his tail off defensively, watching him the last couple of years. So just be a really good player for us. And Ben, I'm good time-wise. If everyone's got anything else, I'm good. So up to you.
I had one more question. I was wondering too, and you mentioned this, with football maybe moving to the spring, do you even allow yourself to go there if there's no competition at all among college athletics? And what do you think that impact would be across the board if there was no college athletics for 1 year because of this virus?
Well, it'd be hugely different for sure. But again, as much as we absolutely want it to be normal, and as much as we want our guys to have the opportunity to compete and the fans to have the opportunity to attend and to have it be like, college athletics are pretty good. It's become a significant part of what a lot of people's lives. But if, safety's first, and we understand that, and we'll adjust as we need to, and we hope it turns out to be as close to normal as possible, but we get it. We'll adjust, and there's so many questions. What happens to the seniors that don't have a chance to play? Do they get another year? I mean, all the budget ramifications of the size of rosters. If all those seniors get another year, there's so many things up in the air that you can't even imagine all of them right now. But those are things that our conference offices discuss and kick around, and I'm sure they'll be prepared for it.
Lon, thanks for doing this today. We appreciate it.
You bet. You bet. Anything else?
All right, I think I saw Joe Bettner had another question.
Yeah, Lon, I was just curious, just with the NBA, the scrimmages being full go, I'm curious, A, what it's like to see basketball back on your TV, and also just with your connections to the NBA, I'm curious if you've been able to pick anyone's brain or learn anything from how they've kind of gone through this past month of getting prepared for another season.
Yeah, it's great, number one, to have live sports on television, whether it be NBA or Major League Baseball or whatever. It's great. You know, golf, I think golf really took advantage of a month or 6 weeks there of kind of the sole athletic opportunity to watch on television. So, and again, absolutely, our conference offices are talking to the NBA folks a lot about gaining from their experiences, what they did, what they liked, what they would have changed. Absolutely. That'll be some shared information that the college folks will take advantage of.